Most people break down when life gets tough. They let stress, fear, or other people's words control them. But here's the truth. A strong mind isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. Strong people don't run from problems. They train themselves to stay calm, focused, and unshaken. Now, imagine walking into any room and people can feel your confidence without you even saying a word. That's what happens when your mind is solid. You don't overreact. You don't lose control. You move with quiet power. In a moment, I'll show you how to train your mind to be that strong, the kind of mind that earns respect, shuts down doubt, and makes people think twice before trying to bring you down. Because once your mind is unbreakable, nothing and no one can stop you. 1. Train your brain daily. Life is not easy. Each day brings distractions, noise, and endless responsibilities. People often find themselves running in circles, working hard, yet feeling stuck in the same place. The truth is, the greatest battle is not outside of us, but inside our own heads. A restless mind, left untrained, becomes like a wild horse, always running but never reaching a destination. That is why the most powerful thing a person can do is to train the brain every single day. Think about it. Every king, inventor, and leader who changed the world began with a thought. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, faced wars and betrayals, yet he ruled himself with calmness because he trained his mind through reflection and discipline. Leonardo da Vinci, the great artist and thinker, spent hours strengthening his mind by observing, questioning, and imagining. Their greatness did not simply appear, it was cultivated, sharpened, and refined. They understood the secret. The mind is a muscle, and if you do not train it, it weakens. Training your brain daily gives you personal power. It allows you to rise above confusion, to see clearly when others cannot, to keep moving forward when others give up. A strong mind turns obstacles into lessons and failures into stepping stones. When you master your thoughts, you master your actions. And when you master your actions, you master your life. Imagine a young student who struggles with fear before every exam. Instead of drowning in worry, he begins to train his brain each day. Every morning, he spends 10 minutes repeating to himself, "I am calm, I am focused, I am capable." He reads a few pages from a book of wisdom, allowing new ideas to sharpen his thinking. He practices solving problems not once, but again and again until his mind grows steady like a sharpened sword. Slowly, his fear fades. When the exam day comes, he does not panic. His mind obeys him. He proves to himself that a trained brain is stronger than fear. So how can you train your brain? Begin with small steps. Give yourself moments of silence each day to reflect. Feed your mind with words of wisdom, biographies, philosophy, or stories of great men and women. Challenge yourself to learn something new, even if it feels difficult. And practice self-command. When a negative thought appears, do not allow it to control you. Replace it with a thought that strengthens you. This is daily training, and just like a blacksmith striking iron, it shapes the steel of your mind. Remember, no great warrior ever entered battle unprepared. No great thinker ever rose to greatness by chance. They all trained. And you too can rise if you decide today that your mind will no longer be a prisoner of fear, doubt, or laziness. Train your brain daily, and you will discover a power within you that no one can take away. You will stand in the middle of storms, yet remain unshaken. You will walk paths that others fear to tread. And one day, when you look back, you will realize that your greatest victory was not over the world, but over yourself. The mind is the kingdom, and you are its ruler. Rule it well, and life will open its gates to you. 2. Master your weak thoughts. Every day, people are surrounded by invisible battles. These battles are not fought in fields of war, but within the mind. Fear whispers, "You cannot do it." Doubt murmurs, "You are not enough." Laziness tempts, "Do it later." These weak thoughts may seem small, but if left unchecked, they quietly shape a person's life, holding them back from the greatness they could achieve. The truth is simple. A person is not defeated by the world, but by their own thoughts. Weak thoughts are like shadows, always waiting to follow, always trying to cover the light. But here lies the secret. Shadows vanish when you stand in the fire of self-mastery. To rise in life, one must learn not to obey weak thoughts, but to rule over them. History offers countless examples. Consider Alexander the Great, who built one of the largest empires before the age of 30. He faced enemies stronger than him, yet his greatest victory was not over soldiers, but over fear and hesitation. When he crossed deserts and mountains, he fought not just armies, but the weak thoughts of his own men. By mastering doubt, he carried them to triumph. Or think of Helen Keller, born deaf and blind. At first, the world seemed dark and hopeless, yet she refused to surrender to weak thoughts of despair. With relentless courage, she turned her mind into a torch of determination. She learned to communicate, to inspire, and to prove that no obstacle is greater than a disciplined mind. Now imagine a young man who dreams of becoming a writer. Each evening, he sits with his pen, but a thought whispers, "You are wasting your time." Another says, "No one will ever care about your words." If he obeys these thoughts, he will give up, and his dream will die. But if he recognizes them as weak thoughts and chooses to master them by writing one page each day, by reminding himself of his vision, by pushing forward in silence, he slowly discovers his strength. One day, he finishes his book, and what once seemed impossible becomes his reality. So how can one master weak thoughts? It begins with awareness. When a thought of fear, doubt, or laziness enters, do not accept it as truth. Observe it, question it, and replace it. Speak to yourself as a leader would speak to an army, firm, commanding, and full of purpose. Strengthen your mind with reflection, with noble words, with learning. Practice small victories, rising early when you feel like staying in bed, choosing effort when you feel like giving up. Each time you win over weakness, your mind grows stronger, like a warrior gaining skill with every battle. The one who masters weak thoughts masters life itself. He is no longer a slave to moods, fears, or temptations. He becomes unshakable, walking through storms with steady steps, turning trials into triumphs. Remember this: weak thoughts will always knock at your door, but you decide whether to let them in. Do not be the servant of your mind, be its ruler. Master your weak thoughts, and you will awaken a strength so powerful that even fate will bow before it. 3. Turn fear into power. Fear is something every human knows. It rises quietly in the chest before a challenge, it whispers before a decision, and it grows louder when the future looks uncertain. Fear tells a student, "What if you fail?" It warns a worker, "What if you are not good enough?" It surrounds the dreamer with shadows of doubt. And because of fear, many never begin, many quit halfway, and many bury their dreams before they are even born. But here is the hidden truth. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is energy. Fear is raw fire. And when you learn to take that fire and control it, it becomes power. The difference between those who remain ordinary and those who rise to greatness is not the absence of fear, it is the ability to transform it. Think of a soldier stepping into battle. His heart beats faster, his breath grows heavy. That fear could paralyze him, but instead he uses it to sharpen his senses, to make him faster, more alert, more alive. Fear, in his hands, becomes a weapon. Now imagine a young woman who dreams of speaking on a stage. Every time she stands before others, fear rises, her hands tremble, her voice shakes. She thinks of running away. But one day, instead of resisting the fear, she embraces it. She tells herself, "This energy in my body is not weakness, it is power." She takes a deep breath and speaks. At first her voice wavers, but soon the fear fuels her words, giving them fire and passion. By the end, the audience is moved, not because she had no fear, but because she transformed it into strength. So how can one turn fear into power? First, recognize fear for what it is, not a chain, but a signal. It tells you that something matters, that you are standing on the edge of growth. Then, instead of running from it, breathe into it. Say to yourself, "This fear is energy, and I will use it." Take small steps into the things that scare you, whether it is speaking, leading, or daring to dream bigger. Each time you face fear, you collect more strength, and soon what once terrified you becomes the very source of your confidence. The person who learns this secret walks differently in life. Where others retreat, he advances. Where others see danger, he sees opportunity. Where others bow to fear, he bends fear into his servant. Remember this: fear will never leave you. It will always appear before every great step, but you hold the choice. You can let it crush you, or you can let it fuel you. Turn fear into power, and no obstacle will ever stand too tall. No dream will ever